What a week in Motown. Lots happening with unveils and launches. First volumes product from Citroen for India. That's broken cover. We've also had the launch of the e-Tron GT family here in our market at the very high end. Flagship range from Audi. And then you've also had two compact SUVs getting their hustle mode on. The Taigun price launch has happened and the first look at the MG Astor as well. So let's take a look at all of this action. Right at the top, I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. This is the Car and Bike Show.
It's been a very busy week for our team. And we went out in 3 different directions to get to see cars that had very different outlooks for the Indian market. And while only one of them has been launched, there's a lot yet to be known about the other 2. So let's start with the smallest of the lot, the Citroen C3. And Samir knows everything about it.
Citroen has finally taken the wraps off its second offering in India, the C3. And instead of the subcompact SUV that we all were expecting, the French automaker has brought in a premium hatchback. Yes, believe it or not, Citroen says the new C3 is an SUV-inspired premium hatchback, which means it will compete with the likes of the Maruti Suzuki Baleno, Hyundai i20, Tata Altroz, and even the Honda WRV. It will also take on the Renault Kiger and the Nissan Magnite. So yes, pricing will be aggressive, we expect. The new Citroen C3 bridges the gap between premium hatchbacks and subcompact SUVs. Its design is rugged, with lower body cladding and a boxy silhouette, while the overall design offers a bold presence. The split headlamps belong to the Citroen family, while the LED DRLs look sharp and trendy. There's plenty of plastic all around for a rugged look. The C3 measures 3,980mm in length, while the ground clearance stands at 180mm. The chunky alloy wheels look stylish and further add to the butch appeal. The quirky theme seeps into the cabin as well with a dual-tone finish, giving it a young and vibrant feel. It gets a digital instrument panel along with a standalone touchscreen infotainment system that integrates wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Sadly, no connected car tech has been announced. The mobile holder next to the touchscreen system looks like a nice touch. If the C5 Aircross is anything to go by, the seats should offer plenty of support and comfort, which will be a standout feature on the new C3. The new offering is expected to be powered by a 1.2-litre turbocharged petrol engine that will belt out about 100 brake horsepower and 160 Nm of peak torque. The motor will likely come mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox and an automatic transmission.
But now let's shift our attention to an SUV, one which promises a lot when it comes to technology. Yes, some of you might have guessed it. We are talking about the MG Motor India's latest car, the Aster. And our mayor spent quite a lot of time with the car.
So the grille is called Celestial Grille, and that is because you see the way it sparkles all around. We could call it the Spider-Man grille if you want. But it looks good, and the concave in it actually brings out a 3D effect. Even if you see the LED headlamps and the LED Hawkeye DRLs, where you see that there's a nice pattern to it. And yes, they are standard on the car. Now the Celestial Grille is actually a bit of chrome to it, but from far away, I couldn't really see it. I thought it was black gloss till I actually went very close and found it. Now, it actually looks very pretty. Even the profile, in fact, is very nice. It's a nice sporty profile that it gets. The nice haunch at the C-pillar is really good. and that's what gives it a sporty character to the car. So yes, the SUV overall looks pretty good. Now 17-inch wheels is what it gets. There could be 16-inch wheels as well on this, but alloy wheels will not be standard on the car, is what we've been told.
Now the rear sports the striking LED taillights with a jewel design, and that is very attractive.
Now I certainly wouldn't mind staying behind this car in traffic conditions because it does look massively pretty. I mean, look at the nice pattern, the Hawkeye pattern which we saw on the LED DRLs continues in a different fashion here, and you have these nice clusters of LEDs as well. It really looks good. And of course you have these two lines which continue from the front and go right up to it basically goes from here to the wheel arches and right up to the front. They actually look nice. What we would have loved not to see is too much badging here, but not a deal breaker as such. It's okay otherwise. But it's overall a really nice and fitting look for the Aster, because again you see this nice slope from the front, which gives it that again coupe-ish like look, which has now become a thing on SUVs.
Let's talk about the dimensions then. The Aster measures in at 4,323 millimeters in length and 1,809 millimeters in width, which makes it taller and wider than most popular compact SUVs in the segment. When it comes to height, it's 1,650 millimeters. And on all these dimensions, it pips rivals like the Kia Seltos, Skoda Kushaq, Hyundai Creta and the VW Taigun. However, the space between the wheels is 2,585 millimeters, and that is lesser than all of the above cars. So obviously we have to check the space of the car.
Now there is good enough space at the rear. You have decent amount of knee room, and there's good headroom too, though this roof slopes a bit, and there's good enough shoulder room and overall good space at the back. However, there's seats just for say 2 people here, and you do get 3-point seat belts for all the occupants here. You obviously can get a third person, but again that person will be crammed. But 3-point seat belts for all is a great thing. And for convenience sake, you have stuff like 2 USB ports and also a rear AC vent.
The MG Astor will be the brand's first model to feature level 2 autonomous technology along with a bunch of functions under the advanced driver assistance systems. This brings features like automatic emergency braking, lane keep assist, rear drive assist, rear cross traffic alert and blind spot detection. And that's big for this segment. In fact, MG says that 27 features are standard on the car. We still don't know the variant-wise feature list, but MG confirmed that 4 airbags will be standard on the base variant. And that puts a smile on our face. But let's move on to the powertrain now.
Now the strategy with the MG Astor is that there is no diesel. It's a petrol only thing. So you get 2 petrol options. One is a 1.4 litre turbocharged petrol engine which punches out 138 bhp and 220 Newton meters of torque, and it also gets mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. This one is the more powerful option. The second option is a 1.5 litre engine which punches out 108 bhp and there's 144 Newton meters of torque on offer. Now that one gets paired to a 6-speed manual transmission and an 8-step CVT. So you have quite a lot of options in the car, but what you miss is a diesel option. And clearly it's a way of telling people that everyone's heading towards petrol, and so is MG in fact. But we can't wait to drive it, especially this 1.4 litre petrol, because we know that that kind of performance and that kind of drivability will be fun on road.
Another car that we can't wait to get behind the wheel of is this. It's all electric. And look at it, it looks absolutely stunning. And yes, it has been launched in India. And Shams got to see it in the flesh.
Audi is taking the lead when it comes to offering premium electric sports cars in the country. They launched 3 earlier this year under the e-Tron brand, and now they've come with 2 more proper electric sports cars, the e-Tron GT and the more powerful, more expensive RS e-Tron GT. Now in the cabin you get every feature that you expect from a flagship Audi car. The list is quite long. Sample this, these cars get an Audi virtual cockpit, MMI navigation plus with touch, B&O premium sound system with 3D sound, Audi smartphone interface and Audi phone box with wireless charging. That's not all. You also get air quality package, Napa leather upholstery, 18-way adjustable sports seats with pro massager and seat ventilation in the front, ambient lighting package and 3-zone climate control. Here's the big difference between these 2 cars is that the RS is more powerful, is quicker. So maximum power of 637 bhp. In fact, Audi says it is the most powerful production car made by the brand till now. A peak torque figure of 830 Nm and 0 to 100 km per hour in just 3.3 seconds. When you talk about the range, this one gives you a maximum range of 480 km. The GT is slightly more at 500 km. And talking about charging, well, using a 270 kilowatt DC fast charger, these cars can be charged up to 80% limit in approximately 22 minutes. And finally, the prices of these 2 cars. The e-Tron GT you see here is slightly more affordable at 1 crore 85 lakh rupees ex-showroom. The RS will set you back by 2 crore 5 lakh rupees ex-showroom. And the good thing is that depending on where you live in the country, you might not have to pay any road tax. So just pay insurance and you're pretty much sorted with these 2 cars.
Quite a lot happening, and I promised you prices on the Taigun. As we take a short break, take a look at all the prices. Starts quite attractively at 10,49,000 rupees and tops off under 17.5 lakh rupees. Kind of what we expected. Join us after the break for more on the Taigun and VW's strategy. The launch of a new car is always exciting, and it's always a busy time for the manufacturer in question. But when it comes as a high decibel launch and one that's been anticipated for quite some time, well, then that pressure just increases. So which is why I'm fortunate to get a little bit of time to have a chat with the man behind this huge launch. I'm talking, of course, of the Volkswagen Taigun. Ashish, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Siddharth.
Like I said, busy time for you.
Yes.
But we're still managing to catch a cup of coffee with you. So, thank you.
In fact, now that you mention it, my coffee intake has gone up tremendously. Yeah, so much anxiety, so much of nervous energy. But yeah, it feels good.
But the thing is that it's the right kind of nervous energy, right?
Yes.
Because the anticipation, as I mentioned, the other day I got accused of saying every launch you guys say is highly anticipated. But this one, genuinely, it's been a good build-up ever since you showed the car at the Auto Expo. Today we are finally bringing the car into the market, and you've talked about already taking in a significant number of bookings. How important is this moment for Volkswagen India and Volkswagen AG?
Yeah. So if you talk about how important it is, yes, from a market point of view, it is very important. But I think let me start by saying that how important is it for my team? This is a team which has been working relentlessly on this product for the last 3 years. Right from conceptualizing the product to what goes into the product, the numerous customer interactions and focus group discussions we have had to make sure that we have the right product for the customers. Building the campaign, which has been brilliant, most talked about campaign in the market right now. The build-up, the excitement, the events that you do. So I think this launch on the 23rd is the culmination of all that effort that we have put in. And that is something which I am extremely proud of.
Pricing itself, yes, challenge always any product launching. But, 2 things that played a role here as we see it. You tell me if it did or did not. The first is the fact that the Kushaq did arrive first. And so, it set a sort of an expectation. Will it go higher? Will it go lower? Will it be the same? And the second thing that happened more recently was, of course, this, sort of cat amongst the pigeon moment when the XUV prices were announced by Mahindra. How much, did that sort of factor into your decision, and how much more pressure did it add to your decision?
when we started with this project itself, the positioning between the brands was very clear.
And you would have had a sort of target price anyway.
We do, yeah, we do. And so the positioning between the brands is very clear, which stays true again to the global positioning between the brands.
Yeah.
Volkswagen is positioned as a more premium brand, and we had to make sure that our lineup and our prices stayed true to that. So that's been the endeavor. I wouldn't say it was pressure. You had certain benchmarks and certain guidelines to follow. We stayed true to that, but at the same time, keeping in mind what goes into the heart of the market. And if you see our lineup and our prices today, you can clearly understand what are we targeting. Yeah? With the high line and the top line, we are sitting right where our customers want us to be. And that's where the volume is also.
That's where the aspiration is for them too.
Yes. Yeah. Fully loaded top line, high line well equipped, no trend line with a comfort line, equipped with at least good amount of features, and the GT for the performance oriented enthusiasts for our brand.
But tell me this, the expectation on price is one thing. It's also about translating that and taking it back to the headquarters and convincing them. This time, the other day I spoke with Mr. Zelmo. Yeah. The feeling that even I'm getting is that you didn't really need to convince. I think they get it, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that message is clear in Volkswagen?
Yes. So I wouldn't like to go into much details with that. Yeah. But there's always a difference between how sales and marketing thinks and how finance thinks.
Yeah, universally.
And you have to keep both happy. So I think with this pricing, we have made both sides happy, and that's a big thing to achieve. Yeah.
No, but the fact that you're being slightly aggressive, this was well understood by headquarters. That's what I mean.
Of course, and
which is a good change.
Much supported as well. In fact, I had some moments where I actually had proposed higher prices, but the feedback from the headquarters was no. We feel this would be better at a lower price point than this. So that was a refreshing change for me.
So those of you who like the prices, you can thank Wolfsburg. He wanted higher prices. Now, jokes apart, last topic that I want to quickly get onto is production.
Yeah.
Because you've already got 11 or more than 11,000 bookings now.
As of today, 12,000, more than 12,000.
More than 12,000. So I'm corrected. The onslaught of that is huge in terms of how to sort of deliver those cars now to the market.
Yeah.
I understand now that the prices are out. Some of that will see some rationalization, but you'll still get even more interest, right?
Sure.
Next few days, leading up to the festive season. How are you going to handle that production pressure, and what about the chip shortage?
See, from a production plan point of view, I'm not going to the shortages right now, but if you look at the production plan, my production will ramp up from October onwards. September, we have good production already coming in, and we will start deliveries from today. In fact, the dealers have started deliveries from today. But from October onwards, because of the festive season, we get into a ramp-up phase, and we have good amount of production available. December is when we will see the peak of our production coming in. That's how the whole production plan is actually laid out right now. So all looking good. In terms of serving the customers, it has to be about transparency. The demand is much higher than supply right now from my production plan. So we will have to make sure that customers are well informed about the timelines for delivery. We will, of course, leave no stone unturned to make sure that the delivery is as fast as possible. But that is a very clear message to our network that we have to go in the priority order of bookings and then give a very clear timeline to customers on delivery. That we will ensure.
But how are you balancing the GT versus or the 1.5 versus the 1 liter?
So far the booking trends, Siddharth, are more or less in line with what we have planned.
What you planned?
Yeah. There might be some variations based on some demand coming in for some variant, but we have the production which is flexible enough to take care of those changes.
And also the supply of the engines, etc. in the case of the 1.5 is not a problem?
Yes, not at all.
All right. So Diwali coming up, where do you expect this to sort of go, and what sort of scale are you expecting bookings wise? Where do you see yourself with the Taigun 6 months from now?
So coming first to the question of Diwali, personally, I think I want to be in a position where I can take 1 week off. And I'm confident that with the momentum that we have, I will be able to afford that. So that's something which I'm very confident of. The team is charged up. And I think from the 12,000 pre-bookings itself, I can be very sure that is something which I can use to relax. 6 months down the line, I think the momentum is only going to pick up. Because the production and the delivery momentum picks up in November and December, and then you just go up from there. So that's something which I'm very looking really forward to. Once the car is in the market, the car is visible to customers, I'm sure there will be more fans who will be joining our family.
And of course, hopefully these shortages will start to get better.
Yes, that's something of a spoiler on the horizon. Yeah. Constant fight every day, but so far so good.
Now, I know there are other markets waiting for the car from you as well. We've spoken about how it's going to be exported from here. Yeah. So I know you'll have your hands full and we'll be very busy.
but this is the good kind of busy. I think you've got off to a great start. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All the very best with the Taigun.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
So it's a pretty aggressive play from Volkswagen with the Taigun, and remember there are two more products. The made in India 5-seater Tiguan and also the Vento replacement, which we think will be called Virtus. They are still to arrive. Please react to all of this. You know how you can reach me on Twitter at Siddharth Patankar. Please keep your seatbelts on in a car, and your helmets on a two-wheeler, and join us next week.